And good morning. Welcome to the Bright Side. Thank you for joining us. I am Pharmacist Ben, and we have lines open for you, and we love hearing from you on the Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you have questions about the longevity products, business, health challenges you or a loved one may be dealing with, I especially want to hear from first-time callers. We'll get you give you a little incentive if you're a first-time caller. I'm going to get you out a Beyond Tangy Tangerine on me. I want to hear who's out there. I know we got a lot of listeners who don't call, but I want to hear who's out there. And I also want to hear how you're dealing with this crazy, historic, epic time that we're dealing with. And I don't mean that in a good way, this corona crazy time we're living with. I want to hear how you're dealing with it. How are you dealing with your nutritional supplement needs? Hopefully you guys know about the power of nutritional supplementation for building your immune system. That's the most important thing we can do to strengthen our immune system, is take care of our nutrition. And that's in a positive sense and in a negative sense. That means getting on a supplement program. It means staying away from foods that mess up your immune system. The digestive system is the home of immunity, and if you are subsisting on the standard American diet, it's very likely that you're going to be dealing with health challenges, whether it's infectious disease or otherwise. Did you know 89% of the people in the United States, this is according to New Scientist magazine, 89% of the people in the U.S. hospitalized with COVID-19 had at least one chronic health condition, and many of them, over 50%, had more than one chronic health condition. The problem, my friends, is not an infectious microbe. The problem is how we take care of ourselves, and especially how we take care of our immune system. Today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite longevity products. I've been going over my top 10 longevity products. Today I'm going to talk about the Ultimate Essential Fatty Acid Plus, the Ultimate EFA Plus. A lot of folks don't realize that EFAs play a very important role in the immune system. In fact, I call EFAs, essential fatty acids, the molecules of inflammation, and that's because of their relationship to the production of master hormones. Most people don't talk about master hormones, but these master hormones are responsible for inflammation and anti-inflammation, which of course is the core element of the immune system. We'll talk about that here in a minute. 844-236-6010 is our number on the Bright Side. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we want to hear from you. 844-236-6010. If you want to purchase longevity products, head to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can purchase longevity products off the website. You can also sign up to join the Brightside Ben team. Just click on the join the team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can also call 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470 for more information. Our number today on the Bright Side, 844-236-6010. We'll get your calls. Next segment, we're going to talk to Chris Burris, a research engineer and a scientist whose primary mission is to help people live longer, healthier lives. And we're going to talk about sleeping and immunity. Sleep deeply and build your immunity is what Chris Burris says. And he's not a nutritionist. He's actually a engineer. So he's got some interesting things to say about sleep. He's a human behavior expert, is how he calls himself, and he's been on CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, recognized for what he calls his subconscious rapid transformation technique. We will talk about that. At the bottom of the hour, we'll get your calls next segment. Okay, let's see what else I want to tell you about. Oh, Truth Treatments, Truth Skin Health Products. It can be purchased at truthtreatments.com. Truthtreatments.com. Just got another review this morning. This one was really cool. 64 years old, love the Truth products so far. Only been using 2 weeks, but skin seems brighter and amazing. That is, we got another one just now, actually, from Christine H. I've only been using these products for a week, and my skin looks and feels amazing. I've had trouble with hormonal acne on my chin as I've gotten older, and nothing helped. The Truth treatments have made it disappear. I love these products. My skin is glowing. These are the kind of reviews we get all the time. We've got now going on 380 or a little over 385-star reviews for our Truth Skin Health products. And you can check them all out at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. I want to talk today about the Ultimate Essential Fatty Acids, the Ultimate EFAs, another one of my top 10 favorite longevity products. The Ultimate EFA is actually, I like the Ultimate EFA Plus. Got slightly different formulations. The Ultimate EFA Plus is ALA, omega-3 fatty acids, omega-6 fatty acids, something called GLA, which is a very, very underappreciated fatty acid. It's not essential. It's a derivative. a GLA, but it's really important for folks who are dealing with, for women who are dealing with menstrual problems and folks who are dealing with eczema, inflammatory skin issues. In fact, you can use GLA topically. You can actually put GLA right on your skin and use it topically. You can stick a pin in your Ultimate EFAs and just put that EFA right on your eczema or right on any kind of inflammatory skin issue. In fact, skin inflammation is one of the major things that happens. It's one of the signs, classic signs of essential fatty acid deficiency. One of the ways they test nutrients, scientists and researchers test the benefits or the properties of nutrients, is they'll take an animal and they'll feed them a normal diet, but they'll remove one single nutrient out of the diet. In case of essential fatty acids, they'll just take EFAs out of the diet and they see what happens. What happens when you take EFAs out of the diet of a laboratory animal is their coat and their skin begins to suffer. And this is how we know that essential fatty acids play a vital role in skin health. And there's a couple things that come to mind when I hear this. Number one, how many people have skin problems? How many people have dry skin? When I do a presentation, I ask how many people have dry skin. Almost everybody raises their hands. If I ask you right now, how many people have dry skin, I guarantee you, and tell you to raise your hand, most of you guys are raising your hands because most people have skin problems. And at the same time, most people are deficient in essential fatty acids. They're the hardest nutrients to find in foods because they're so unstable. And unless you're going out of your way to supplement, the chances are pretty good you're going to be deficient in these super powerful inflammatory and anti-inflammatory nutrients. Remember my criteria for assessing the value of a nutritional supplement, and the standard I use for putting something on my top 10 list of nutritional supplements from longevity or otherwise is multifunctionality in combination with non-toxicity, and your Ultimate EFA Plus meet both of these criteria. They're completely non-toxic. You can take as much as you want, and they're incredibly multifunctional because of their role, the very important role they play in inflammation and anti-inflammation. We hear this word inflammation all the time, but what we don't recognize is the body is always inflaming and it's always anti-inflaming. The problems arise is when it's out of balance. The inflammation and anti-inflammation is out of balance and we're more inflammatory than anti-inflammatory. This can be due to attack. This can be due to invasion. This can be due to leaky gut or something getting into the bloodstream through the digestive system inappropriately. And it can be due to deficiencies in essential fatty acids. And given that most people are not supplementing with essential fatty acids, the odds are pretty good that by taking some EFAs, you can resolve inflammatory issues, specifically skin inflammatory issues. That's your Ultimate EFAs and your Ultimate EFA Pluses, both of which get turned into something called master hormones, which are called, technically speaking, eicosanoids. We'll talk about that when we come back from our break. And take your phone calls. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. Back on the bright side, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll get your calls just a moment. We've got a guest coming up at the bottom of the hour. Chris Burris is a research engineer and a scientist whose primary mission is to help people live longer, healthier, and pain-free lives. He has a diverse background in science. He's an inventor, manufacturer. He's studied internet technology. He's got a BS in mechanical engineering. And I'm always interested in hearing what engineers have to say about nutrition. Engineers don't look at nutrition the same way nutritionists or dietitians or even pharmacists look at it. They don't look at the human body that way. They look at the human body as a system, which indeed it is. And this idea of the human body as a system is something that we need to start to leverage and start to take advantage of and really start to understand if we're going to take care of our health correctly as individuals and as representatives, as patients or as participants in our healthcare system. The fact that we don't understand the body as a system is what allows healthcare professionals and patients to have their gallbladders taken out, or have their appendixes removed, or have hysterectomies, or have their breasts slopped off. It's because we don't understand that everything goes together as a system, and if you remove one part of that system, you don't have a system anymore. You don't have that system anymore. And this is a major, major health issue that we're dealing with, not just in terms of surgeries, but also in terms of drugs, because drugs disrupt systems. In fact, some drugs are almost as chemical versions of surgery. Beta blockers and calcium channel blockers in particular are drug versions of removing an organ out of the body. In any case, we'll talk to Chris Burris about sleep behavior and how you can use sleep to help build your immune system. How to help, Christopher studies how to help people sleep well and build their immunity. We'll talk to him at the bottom of the hour. I am Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. I want to finish just real briefly here talking about eicosanoids. Ico means 20, and eicosanoids are long chain fats derived from essential fatty acids that have 20 carbons, hence the name eicosanoids. And they're hormone-like molecules. They're not like endocrine hormones. They're not the kind of hormones we talk about all the time, which travel through the bloodstream and go from one place to another in the body. These are more like hormones that just work very, very locally. They work either on the cell that produces them or they work on neighboring cells. They're not endocrine hormones, they're autocrine hormones. Probably haven't heard of autocrine hormones or paracrine hormones, but nonetheless, they have the same signaling behaviors. They exhibit the same signaling behaviors that ordinary hormones do, particularly around inflammation. And this means they play a major role in skin health, in heart health, in cancer, in the development of cancer. And considering that most people are deficient in essential fatty acids, it seems pretty likely that a lot of our health challenges can be resolved by getting yourself on a good essential fatty acid nutritional supplement. And there's so much misunderstandings about these EFAs. I talked to a gal a couple days ago, and she's a smart lady. She's a lawyer, and she's a big fan of a guy who has a podcast named Vinny. And Vinny doesn't believe anybody should use any oils. And I told this gal, she sent me a picture of her skin, and you can tell a lot by looking at. I can tell a lot by looking at pictures of people's skin. And I looked at her skin, and it was a classic demonstration of what happens when people don't have fats. And sure enough, when I recommended her essential fatty, I recommended Udo's blend to her, and then I told her about the Longevity Ultimate EFAs, and she said, "Oh no, I can't eat any oils because my nutritional guru Vinny says no oils." I said, "Here, just send him a picture of this of these essential fatty acid supplements." She sends me a note back. She says, "Vinny says that those are like automobile oil. Those are like diesel oil." That's what he said about flaxseed oil. So. This guy, Vinny, who I'm trying to get on the radio program so we can have a healthy debate about essential fatty acids. I don't know if he's going to want to. This guy, Vinny, is telling people not to use essential fatty acids, and he's a nutritionist. Actually, he's a trainer. He's a physical trainer. He's a personal trainer. He says, no, there are like no fats, no essential fatty acids. Now, I understand what he's thinking. And there are some precautions that have to be taken when you use essential fatty acids. You have to keep them in the refrigerator, or you have to use gel caps. In the refrigerator or as gel caps, essential fatty acids are stable, and they're extremely important, and they're very, very, very significant. They play a major role in how healthy we are from an immune system perspective. Of course, given all the stuff we're dealing with today, we need all the immune help we can get. So get yourself on the Ultimate EFAs from Longevity, especially if you're dealing with skin problems, by the way. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. Chris Burris coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll get your phone calls right now. Let's go to Gina in Oregon and say good morning. What's up, Gina? Welcome to the Bright Side.
Hey, good morning, Ben. How are you?
Oh, my friend Gina. Where you been?
Yeah, from Oregon. I'm still employed.
Oh, that's good. You're an esthetician, right?
Yeah, engineer and esthetician. Yes.
Engineer and esthetician. You're going to love our engineer at the bottom of the hour here.
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
I'm a fan of engineers.
Okay.
What's going on today, Gina?
Okay, I just want to share some information and my findings. I don't know how much time I have.
You have a few minutes. I'll give you a few minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, a few minutes. Okay, so let me just jump to first, I want to give you a plug for your product, the True Treatment. And
thank you.
Yeah, they're wonderful. For all those ladies out there, please just get what is that? The retinol. 5%. Yeah, the
nice.
retinol 5% is wonderful. It's great. I love it. I use it every week. So, and there's some other product. Is the serum and the biomimetic mineral. That's the best combination. If
thank you,
you
Gina.
Apply that liquid mineral to any of those products, mix them together. It works great. Okay, that's a plug. Okay. And, second thing, I'm going to skip the second one. The third one is now we have I don't know if you have heard the mandatory vaccination is coming soon.
Yeah, they're talking about it.
Okay, so, and I want to share that with your listeners. So there's a movement going on by Dr. Rashid Buttar.
Buttar, yes.
Buttar against the mandatory vaccination. So, and I would just urge your listener go check out his video on YouTube and Facebook, anything like that. And the latest one, he got screwed. It was an emergency broadcast from his channel. So he got screwed by the North Carolina governor. So they try to shut him down, basically, so because they will have the medicine conference this weekend. So you can go to the YouTube, any of the YouTube channel, and his channel to look at the information over there. And also there are more information. He did the 1 hour and 20 minutes live stream a few days ago. He laid out the whole thing in a simple way, and so everybody can understand what's going on, for this completely meditated coronavirus. It's not only what he said, because based on my findings, a lot of data he talked about correlate with my findings too. So it's really interesting.
I've listened to Dr. Buttar now for a while, and he's on. Yeah. And by the way, the name is spelled Buttar, like butter, except with an A. Rashid Buttar is author of several books. And I've been listening to him for a lot. He's got a thing on London Real. Just Google his name. You'll get a whole bunch of good. You'll get a whole bunch of good stuff. And he's right on. And he's a physician. And you know what else? He has accumulated over 7,000 doctors, MDs, physicians who know this is a scam, who know this is a hoax, and they're coming at it as MDs, right? And it's not just him. So I encourage everybody to give him a listen to Rashid.
Okay, the last thing I want to say, the first evidence I have is that why we have U.S. patent for coronavirus. Go look it up. Okay?
Yeah, it is patented. Right. Gina, thanks so much for sharing. Appreciate it. We got to go. Thank you for listening to The Bright Side. We got Chris Burris coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll be back right after this. We are back on The Bright Side. I am Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for joining us. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, 24/7 on our archive page at brightsideben.com, also benfuchsarchives.com. We have a search engine up. We have 9 years of archived information, all free, good health information, unique health information at brightsideben.com, also pharmacistben.com and criticalhealthnews.com, and the longevity products are up there as well. And don't forget to take a look at our True Skin Health products. Never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers, water, oil, silicone, nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want. And any of our True Skin Health products, all formulated in my compounding pharmacy for wound healing. And as it turns out, when you heal a wound, you beautify the skin, because healing is beauty. Check out all our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com. All right, I am really looking forward to talking to our guest. Chris Burris is a research engineer and a scientist. His primary mission is to help people live longer, healthier, pain-free lives. He's going to talk to us about sleep, but he's also the co-inventor of fullerene manufacturing equipment. You guys know that I'm a big fan of C60 carbon, fullerene, super fascinating molecule with a lot of health benefits. I've been using fullerenes in my skin health products for years, since I first discovered them in pharmacy school. Please welcome to The Bright Side, Chris Burris. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Ben, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited that you're aware of C60. I've been manufacturing C60 since 1991, and I spent so many years mentioning C60 to people, talking about C60, talking about fullerenes and how amazing they are. And mostly I get, crickets. People have never heard of it, so I'm excited.
Well, you know what? If people were to look at the molecule, even a layperson, if they were just to look at the molecule, they would be filled with the Holy Spirit instantly, because that is one amazing structure. It's called a buckyball for the listeners, because it looks like a ball. It literally looks like a ball with 60 carbons symmetrically arranged. Really, really amazing stuff. Before I forget, Chris, you're giving away a free audiobook to our listeners. I've been meant to mention that. For our listeners, if you go to myvitalc.com, myvitalc.com//brightside, you'll get an audiobook by your partner, I suppose. Is Patrick your partner, Patrick Lawrence? Neutralize 7 emotions that are holding you hostage right now and keeping you from peace of mind. So I was going to talk to you about sleep, but if you don't mind, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into fullerenes and what exactly how do you manufacture fullerenes?
So first off, you mentioned like if your audience were to actually see a molecule, I'm holding a model of one in my hand, and the best way to describe it for the layperson is imagine a soccer ball where the lines on the soccer ball represent the bonds between the carbon atoms. So you have 60 carbon atoms in this ball shape. The guys who discovered it in 1985 and then won the Nobel Prize for that discovery in 1996.
Is this Buckminster Fuller?
Go ahead.
This wasn't Buckminster Fuller you're talking about.
No, Buckminster Fuller is the name is the name of the person that they named the molecule after. So Buckminster Fuller he didn't invent the geodesic dome, but he's the architect and kind of visionary who brought the geodesic dome to the forefront, brought it into really the architectural community.
So the molecule was first synthesized by these folks, or was first discovered by these folks?
It was first, so it's a naturally occurring molecule. If you actually collect the soot from a candle, you can actually collect parts per million, parts per billion of C60 and really some of the other higher fullerenes. But in order to, they hadn't discovered it. In fact, it's kind of interesting. 1 year prior to them publishing in Nature, IBM had the exact same data that they did. They had recognized an abundance of 60 carbon atoms in all of these. At the time, they thought they were just regular sheets of carbon, so why 60 over 59 and over 61? And it was the group at Rice that decided to dig into this deeper and then ultimately published a paper. It looks like the soccer ball, and then they ultimately won the Nobel Prize for that.
Now, does this have anything to do with sleep?
So here's what's interesting. So first off, Nobel Prize, it's going to be a ubiquitous material. The scientific community kind of hearkened it to being a 3D version of benzene. I know you're into supplements. You may know this really well. Benzene is the foundation, one of the foundation molecules of modern society. If your audience looks around the room they're in or the car they're in and look at everything that's plastic.
Yeah.
Benzene is the basis of plastic. It's the basis of most medicines. It's the basis of detergents. So they figured this buckyball, this soccer ball shape, was going to be a 3D version of benzene. Turns out benzene is toxic and carcinogenic. They assumed the buckyball was going to be toxic and carcinogenic. So in 2012, they did this study, a toxicity study. But instead of being toxic, and actually my company provided the material in that study. In that study, they gave rats water, rats olive oil, and then rats olive oil. And here's where I really like to make a distinction, because this is important to keep consumers safe. C60 is for industrial applications, and there's peer-reviewed published research that shows when C60 is improperly processed, it's harmful. ESS60 is actually C60 that's been processed for safer human consumption. So those rats that they gave olive oil with ESS60, which is really the MyVital-C formula, they didn't die of toxicity. They lived 90% longer than the control group, and they died without tumors.
Well, let me understand this real quick. Are you saying that ordinary fullerenes are toxic?
I'm saying the way that you typically process fullerenes, and I've been doing it, more than 28 years, involves solvents, and if you don't mitigate that, then you have a potential challenge. I can tell you that we've sold C60 with solvents to people, and when we realized that they were putting that product in an oil to sell to consumers, we stopped selling to those companies.
Yeah, C60 is so stable. It's got such a stable chemical structure that it doesn't really dissolve into things. So you got to use super high-powered, right? You got to use super high-powered solvents to get it to go into solution. Is that what you're saying? It's the solvent. It's the solvents, the high-powered solvents that are causing the problems. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
It's two things, right? So one of them, yes, the solvents, and you've got to manage that. And by the way, the supplement industry, plant extracts are typically done with solvents, right? So this is not something that the industry doesn't know how to manage and do really well. But still, we're finding people in the market who don't really have that capability who are doing it. The other is one of the things that you'll do with a buckyball, because just for the solubility reason that you just mentioned, not soluble in water, people will add things to the exterior of that ball to make it water soluble, and that's when you start getting into really dangerous areas.
Is it because the C60 is it because the C60 molecule's been disturbed, or is it because of those extraneous additives that are attached to the molecule?
Well, you're a pharmacist, right? So you know, like, as soon as you add one extra carbon or one extra hydrogen off of this little wing or that little wing of the molecule, you can have drastically different effects in the body.
And that's what you're saying is when they start attaching things to them. Gotcha. Now, actually, you know what? We're going to have to take a break in 15 seconds or so. But I want to know about ESS, what the ESS is exactly, and what is it about your molecule that makes it so much different? And then also, is there a relationship to sleep, and is there a relationship to the immune system between your ESS 60 olive oil product and buckyballs in general, and strengthening the immune system and falling asleep? We'll talk to we'll finish up when we come back from our break. We're talking to Chris Burris, research engineer and developer of a very interesting molecule, fullerene molecule. We'll continue our discussion with Chris Burris on the bright side right after this commercial break. Don't go away. Okay, we are back on the bright side. We're talking to Chris Burris, research engineer and scientist, whose primary mission is to help people live longer, healthier, pain-free lives. He's the co-inventor of the most efficient fullerene manufacturing equipment in use. He's been doing it since 1991. Chris, what exactly is ESS 60, and how does it differ from ordinary fullerenes?
So what we realized in the industry, in the C60 industry, is that we've actually canvassed the whole industry. Let me talk a little bit about our pedigree, and then I can get into that. So we've been selling carbon 60 to research institutions around the world since 1991. When we sell to those institutions, they have the equipment, the technology, and the know-how to actually test our equipment, to test what we sold them, not our equipment, but to test what the fullerenes that we sold them. And so our pedigree is we have to be delivering a high-quality product to people who can actually confirm our product. When this industry started to take off, there are a lot of manufacturers out there who make C60, but they've never sold into that demanding environment. They don't have an HPLC. You know what that is, but most of your audience doesn't have an HPLC lying around the house, so they can't test the materials that they're getting from these consumers. We've tested most of them. Most of them are woefully low in concentration, and like I mentioned earlier, some of them, when we realized the manufacturers were purchasing the wrong C60 that had residual solvents, putting it in the oil and then selling it to people, we stopped selling to them. So we really kind of said, all right, let's create a demarcation. C60, industrial applications, ESS 60, which stands for elemental carbon, safe spheres. Elemental safe spheres 60, and again, C60 is for industrial applications.
So elemental safe spheres 60 is a form of fullerene that's bioavailable, I take it, and it's you can use it in supplements and that kind of thing. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
That is absolutely the intent, right? Let's keep the consumer safe. Look for ESS 60, and you know that it's been processed properly.
And why do you use olive oil?
Okay, so in the original study, the 2012 Paris study, again, is peer-reviewed, published research, they put this really ESS 60 in olive oil, and that it was their decision. So I'm a scientist. By nature, I want to, if you want to recreate what happened in that study, then you should do what they did in that study. We do have products. We have an MCT product. We have an avocado product. But those products are really just to satisfy the consumer interest and demand for different flavors. There isn't the research doesn't exist on those products, although we do have great testimonials about those products as well.
Now, when I was working with fullerenes, and I've worked with them quite a bit, I couldn't get them to go into anything. Is that because of the type of fullerene I was using, or is that because of the equipment I was using or the processing? It doesn't seem like it would even go into oil very effectively.
It doesn't. We can only get about 0.8 milligrams per milliliter into a good olive oil. It varies from batch to batch because olive oil is a natural product. We mix ours for 3 weeks in order to get only 0.8 milligrams per milliliter into our solution.
Obviously that's a pretty tiny amount. Do you have to use high pressure, or do you have to use heat, or just ordinary mixing?
We just use ordinary mixing, but because it's an oil, we actually use a nitrogen buffer gas. You don't want to be oxygenating the oil while you're manufacturing it.
But the fullerene's an antioxidant too, isn't it?
It is, yes. Like there's at least one study that shows it to be 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. It's one of the reasons that it can protect, help support your immune system.
Have you experimented with loading the Fullerene, or is it even possible?
When you say loading, putting something inside of it?
Correct, using it like a delivery system.
So we haven't messed with using it as a delivery system. In the early days, by the way, that's called indihedral fullerenes. The cage is big enough for any atom on the periodic chart to fit inside of it. Kind of geekiness is there's a new symbol in chemistry because of the buckyball. The at symbol, which we're familiar with in emails, so lanthanum at C60 means lanthanum trapped inside of it. We make indihedral fullerenes. They're insanely expensive. C60 is already expensive enough. Indihedral fullerenes are really expensive. But there was the thought of putting radioactive atoms inside of the buckyball, attaching components to the exterior that, say, might attach to cancer cells and delivering this radioactive payload to cancer cells. But that is never, I've never seen a study that they've actually done that. That was just a theory.
Now, you're saying indohedral, I-N-D-O-H-E-D-R-A-L. Is that the word you're saying?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's a mouthful right there. I'm going to have to look that one up. Sleep. So what's this got to do with sleep and immunity?
That's a great question. So really, in 2012, they come out with this amazing study, the longest longevity experiment on mammals, peer-reviewed published research ever. And in 2013, people started calling us for how much in a dose, and we were uncomfortable at that time, despite the literature showing that ESS60 was safe, C60 was for industrial applications. In 2017, a guy with a big YouTube following started talking about the benefits he was getting, and then the industry just kind of blew up. And that's probably about the time that you heard of it, I would think. So for the first number of years, we were actually selling this for research purposes only with no marketing material. Like, we weren't telling people what it would do, so there's no opportunity for placebo effect. But people were consistently coming back to us and saying, I take this in the morning, I've got mental focus and energy during the day, and then I sleep better that night. Better sleep is one of the most consistent testimonials we get.
And this is for your product, My Vital C, correct? That contains the fullerene. And what exactly is My Vital C?
So My Vital C is olive oil with about 0.8 milligrams per milliliter of our ESS60 molecule dissolved in it.
So it's just basically fullerene and oil?
Yes. I mean, oil and carbon.
Yeah, oil and carbon. That's about as natural as you could get. So you just take a couple drops before you go to bed?
Our typical serving size is 1 teaspoon or 5 mils. That's an equivalent. And you take it actually before. Some people will say that it'll keep them up at night. That's not true for me, but I'm also the weird guy who can drink a cup of coffee and fall right asleep. So most of our customers take it in the morning. Again, they report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. And I like to draw the comparison, the contrast to the quote-unquote sleep aid industry, right? You understand, like, the prescriptions of sleep aids, and what they tend to do is you take them right before you go to sleep. They knock you out. They relieve the chemical pressure to desire sleep, which is related to a chemical called adenosine, but they don't actually let you get your REM sleep. Everybody's familiar with that, and also NREM sleep, your healing sleeps. Again, our product you take in the morning, you get better sleep that night. I've never heard of anything on the market that even comes close to doing that.
So you get residual benefits all day long. You take it in the morning, you get benefits all day long, and then at night.
I can tell you if it's afternoon and I'm yawning, it's because I forgot to take my serving.
Any issues on tissue deposition or where the molecule accumulates?
So, I mean, we could get into a lot. I don't know how much time we have. We can get
about a minute. We just have about a minute.
It's believed that it's really kind of gets out of your body in about the 2-week time frame. We can debate that because in the original study, the last dose was given to the rats at month 17, and the rats given our product lived to month 62.
And any accumulation in the brain or in the pineal gland?
We know that it crosses the blood-brain barrier, but I'm not aware of any research suggesting accumulation in those two spaces.
How do people get this stuff if they want it?
So Well, first off, and maybe we need to reschedule to focus. We have a really good audiobook. It's free. We don't even require an email. We're literally just a gift. I'm about giving back in these really troubling times. The audiobook is Neutralize the 7 Emotions that are holding you hostage right now. And there's actually a guided meditation, Overcome Fear, Anxiety, and Enjoy Peace of Mind. They can go to myvitalc.com/brightside to get that. I also have a coupon code if anybody is interested in trying My Vital C. You can just navigate the website and find the product that you want. It's $15 off if they use the coupon code Brightside. I would recommend if they go find a product, we sell the product in individual bottles. We give a 25% discount for subscriptions, and you can cancel at any time, so go ahead and take advantage of that subscription.
And you have YouTube stuff as well. They just Google Chris Burres, Burres, correct? Okay, good.
Exactly.
And then also there's a Facebook page, My Vital C Product. I've been a fan of fullerenes for years, so I'm a supporter, Chris. In fact, I would like to talk to you a little bit more off the air about that. And then in this crazy day and age with the immune system, we got immune-boosting properties as well, right?
There's 5. So it's an antibacterial. It's a known antiviral. It was actually known to inhibit the replication of the AIDS virus. So known antiviral. Antioxidant, 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. You've got to be very careful with, you probably know this, with saying something is an anti-inflammatory. What we can say is it fits very naturally in an anti-inflammatory diet. And then, of course, sleep, which helps your mental, physical, and emotional well-being. That's really like 7 things I wasn't counting. Seven ways that it supports your immune system.
Thank you so much, Chris Burres. MyVitalC.com and the free audiobook at myvitalc.com/brightside. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate having you on the bright side. Best of luck. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening, friends. Have a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to you later, folks. Bye for now.